Friends, the moment I start to discuss and have a discourses on such type of theme, I do have certain fundamental questions, no doubt in you, but in my mind, and that will definitely guide me to proceed in a convergent way. So, how we can discuss about the quality parameters and how we can assure the quality sustenance in the existing and upcoming higher education system in India in particular and globe in general. The first question is narrated like that. Are we dreaming for quality higher education in India? Definitely, including me, my answer would be yes. In continuation with the first question, the subsequent questions rightly mention what kind of arrangements are we expecting in and around the higher education institutions. So these would be the guiding questions, rather I can say, and it would be definitely follow with certain important correlates and some important constructs. If I start to analyze, critically analyze what is the real purpose of higher education, definitely, broadly we can say, the most important objective of higher education is to create knowledge among our individuals. And that will be supported through any form how we can create knowledge in terms through differentiate form of learning by utilizing different pedagogies and in terms of classroom learning, in terms of experiential form, in terms of other forms. So intention is very clear. The intent and content of higher education is quite crystal clear, I can say. We have to create knowledge, and that will lead to value addition among our learners. And ultimately, we are talking about the national development, national education policy trends, so that can contribute to the growing economy of the nation. So, whatever things you have, if my higher education is not able to contribute to the growing economy, because we are now thinking to have a developed country by 2047. So, do you think that we are quite knowledgeous? We have lot of values. We know what to do in what context.
Hello,
But at the same time, the ultimate or the immediate and
hello,
ultimate intention, we can individually and collectively contribute to the growing economy of individual, as well as so that which can ultimately contribute to the growing economy of the nation. So it may not be, I think, the objective of the early childhood care education or maybe foundational level, because the intention, the objective of foundational level of education is something different from that of this higher education level. And higher education is no doubt higher in addition to the value addition and value infusion, I can say, value inclusion, I can say, as well as including the quite important term, that is economy is another important terms in terms of providing skill education, in terms of providing make the people become competent, in terms of become confident in their approach, and ultimately they would be the valuable citizen, not only for the family but also for the nation also. That's why, friends, the moment we talk about the quality assurance or quality accreditation, our accreditation and assessment must be guided by these components. There are three important components. I understand that. Whether my higher education, either in terms of undergraduate or in terms of postgraduate or in terms of doctoral and postdoctoral level, whether these education system in terms of curriculum, in terms of pedagogy, in terms of assessment, in terms of management, in terms of co-curricular and extracurricular activities, in terms of internship, or sometimes in medical education we can say it is apprenticeship. So whatever kind of whatever components are included in the system of holistic system of education. So to what extent these things are reflected, and soon after taking the education, soon after having the education, whether my learner could able to have such kind of able to develop and able to promote such things or not. If these things are not promoted, if these things are not fostered, I need to analyze my system of education once again. So, what are the lacking, in which point it is lacking, whether in terms of knowledge creation, whether we are not in a position to promote certain kind of values among students, so whether skills are not been able to develop through the system of education. Now, friends, the moment we go to the syllabi or curriculum of certain system of higher education, now we are thinking about the learning outcomes. LO. And even if you have your syllabus, we are having our program outcomes, program specific outcomes. Somewhere people used to write down program objectives also. Then again, next to that, we used to write down the course outcomes or course objectives. And again, by narrowing down these components, we are writing the learning outcomes. So after reading this component or after discussing certain content, to what extent my students could able to gain or able to develop certain competencies. If my students, my learners, not able to develop certain competency, then I think that real objective, real vision and mission of higher education are not in a position to gain, or I think it is a kind of distant stream. So, friends, so there are certain arguments and discussion that how it will be possible in courses like liberal arts, how it can be possible like the subjects like language and literature. But simply by saying no, I think this is not the solution. We have to explore. So, what kind of arrangements can be done in our curricula so that these things can be operationalized, these things can be nurtured, because I understand that. So, language is one of the important component, no doubt. Language is a knowledge capital. And at the same time, we have to analyze our existing curricula, first of all, higher education curricula. And by through different way, either through criterion mode, we have to decide. So these are my criterias. These things should be promoted. And now we can have a critical analysis of my curricula with specific context, specific goals. Then whether this to what extent this can be achieved or attained, that is one of the important area of discussions now. So friends, if you little closely look at the aims of higher education, I understand that I can categorize safely or broadly into three important aims. One is immediate aim, another is ultimate aim, and in between ultimate and intermediate aim, we are having the intermediate aim. So yes, definitely, any system has certain sort of goal. Either it may be long term, or it may be short term, or in between long term and short term. That is, we can say it is mid term. So actually, aims are decided on the basis of need and aspiration of the society. So aims is not a specific component. Time to time, the aims, objectives, aspirations, need of society is going on changing. The way we are thinking now, so the expectation may be or may not be same after some days. That's why, friends, now national education policy is always emphasizing to promote skill among the students so that they can be one of the responsible citizen, not only for his family or her family, but also for the a sincere, meticulous citizen for the society at large. So then what could be the guidelines of our higher education system? What could be our curricular aspects? What would be the teaching, learning, and assessment? What should be the research and extension activities? What should be the what needs to be the students' support services? And what kind of institutional values we need to promote? These are the important areas to be discussed comprehensively so that our aims cannot be achieved in a day, but must be achieved within a certain span of time. So friends, if I little closely analyze the university functions at a large, so there are three important and crucial functions of each higher education institution in general and university in particular. So one is quality teaching and learning. And friends, the moment we talk about the quality assurance in higher education institution or higher education system, do you think that without teaching and learning, can we attain the expectation or the mission and vision of any higher education institution? Definitely not. Our teaching learning would be at par the global standard. Then question definitely come to every academia that what kind of teaching learning we are expecting. Yes, would be definitely discussing in upcoming slides. Then second important point that we are talking about the quality research. And third thing is really university is not only meant for teaching, learning, and research, friends, but also it is committed and truly dedicated for the social cause and for the cause of the society in terms of social activities and in terms of social connect programs. That is can be explained in terms of extension services. We may have certain universities. They are they are only working in the campus only. So teaching learning is finished, and now their work would be finished. But in recent years, survival of such kind of university, such kind of higher education institution is definitely a great questions. So the university is located in certain place, and we have to think of the need, we have to think of the requirement of the society. And if we do not meet the need and expectation and requirement of the nearby society, so what is the meaning of establishing a university in certain place? So there are certain universities which are extremely located in rural areas. We can have certain universities in North India and South India, and they are working tremendously for the upliftment of the rural people. There are certain universities in country like India. It is extremely situated in the rural and the remote pockets and in the hill of the top of the hills, and which is dominated by the our tribal friends. Now, friends, if you go back and if you look into that of this, the kind of researches they used to perform, the faculty members are used to perform, and most of the researches are usually tribal centric research. Most of the researches are usually rural centric research. Similarly, now time has come, friends. Teaching is second, learning is first. And the name itself says learn plus ing means it is a continuous process. Our teaching learning system must be learner centered, and we are for that only. So our best effort to make this system become learned, not to force them to learn. So as per their necessity, as per their ability, as per their expectation, as per their motivation, as per their interest, we have to design and develop our teaching learning strategy. Then only I can think. So quality does not be quantified into many a times. So it cannot be expressed in any types of digits and numeric friends. But quality is always a matter of relative concept, which is usually observed and felt. The moment students think that, so what for what we have been come to this institution, the objective for which I have been joined in the institution, I am satisfied with that, then I think the higher education is working in the right path or could able to align with the expectation of the society. Yes, it cannot be expressed. Once again, I say. So, in terms of percentage, 99% of the students qualified this and that. Yes, I understand that. Quantity is one of the minimum condition for getting quality. But always we cannot separate the quality and quantity. Once it has been quantified that, then we are attaining the quality. So, we need to understand the internal arrangements in order to make anything become more qualitative. So by looking at the upper side, by looking into that of how things run, so if you simply put the statement that yes, my institution is fine, it is getting this and that grade, it is accredited into A double plus. But friends, quality cannot be measured, quality cannot be assessed within a small setup of time within 2 or 3 days by having the team of 5 and 7 people. That is my observation, small observations. It requires a long time and consistent and constant observation of each and every correlates of the higher education systems. Yes, there are n number of correlates in order to provide the final decision and judgment. Similarly, friends, our research, our research, yes, we need to have a research which must contribute to the educational theory and practice, which must be bringing something new or and helpful for the peaceful living of the society, and by which our learners, our citizen will feel confident. So ऐसे कुछ रिसर्च मुझे लगता है करना चाहिए. And yes, experimental research is fine, but at the same time, we need to have a kind of screen what kind of researches we are having and whether these research findings, this research result are really something beneficial for the society or not. If it is not beneficial, if it has certain sort of limitation, we need to assess again and again, I think. Otherwise, it is quantity by quantity, it is fine, but by quality, there are certain form of question marks. As friends, we have been discussing about the quality extension services. So there are n number of possibilities, numerous possibilities the university is having, because university is having lot of possibility, lot of space and scope to provide extension service, not only inside the campus but also outside the campus also. So, being the leading university, leading educational institutions, we need to explore in which area we can provide the service. What kind of changes we can bring in and around our system and surroundings. So, that's unless and until we identify the dark area, untouched area, then if we start on providing certain services which may not be beneficial, which may not be workable for the society, I think it would not be quality services for the extension, quality services for the people in and around the university system. So in order to carry out all this consideration, in order to carry out all these things, we require a quality work culture. A quality work culture. Number one, friends, we require quality initiatives. Initiation is very much important. And not only that, planning is very much important. We need to involve our students, our teachers, our parents, our non-teaching staffs, and even if those who are champion and those who are quite experienced in this field. Simply qualification is not enough to create the quality culture, friends. Experiences plays important role because the interesting researches reveals that experience probably is one of the wonderful element to make the human being become excellent and to make the system become excellent, to make the system become a qualitative one. So experience बहुत ही important role play करता है. इसीलिए so we can call, we can encourage, we can invite people even though they have never have the qualification to be one of the faculty or one of the position, getting one position in the university, but their experiences, their ideas must be incorporated in order to make our higher education system become sustainable and to have a cultured system. That's why initiation is very much important, friends. And during our initiation, we can have lot of criticism also, friends. Lot of competitions also, friends. People will put negative marks. Why you are doing this thing? Because he is the teacher and you are the teacher. You are getting the salary. भाई आप क्यों इस प्रकार का इनिशिएटिव ले रहे हैं? इससे आपको मिलेगा क्या? मुझे लगता है we should not bother about the others. The intention is very to be very clear what I am going to do exactly. And once thing would be done, no, lot of people will start on following that we need to do something. We have been experimented some things like in our university and in its small systems. So the moment you are telling the new things in the system, no, people will start on saying, भाई तनख्वाह तो मिलता है, ये सब काम करने की क्या जरूरत है? And if you start on doing something, no, and the negative people will start on gathering slowly and they will transform their negative ideas to become positive idea. तो कहीं ना कहीं से काम चालू करना चाहिए. If you like to do something and if you like to get something away from the conventional box, जो कन्वेंशनल चल रहा, क्लास एक क्लास दो क्लास लिए उसके बाद हम घर निकल जाते हैं, तो हमें थोड़ा सा कुछ अलग से आउट ऑफ द वे जाके इनिशिएटिव लेना पड़ेगा. ये जो बात है, कुछ ना कुछ एडिशनल काम करें जो कि बेनिफिशियल कोई हो. बेनिफिशियल तो होगा नो डाउट. एटलीस्ट आई नीड टू बी सेटिस्फाइड, आई डिड समथिंग फॉर माय सोसाइटी, आई डिड समथिंग फॉर माय डिपार्टमेंट. दैट वुड बी अ काइंड ऑफ इनर सेटिस्फेक्शन यू नीड टू हैव. So ये initiative, once you start on taking initiative, no, and the slowly it will become a snowball. ये धीरे धीरे छोटे छोटे जो चीज मिलते हुए बहुत बड़ा बनता है. Your students should be inspired, your teachers should be inspired, you can get certain kind of encouragement maybe from the social setup. So ये जो चीज होता है, that's why ये इनिशिएशन लेना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात है कोई भी सिस्टम में. इट मे बी एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन, it may be maybe one of the responsible member at your village level, at your university level, at your school level. There are number of people, they have spent whole their teaching life or all their services by simply coming to the department and leaving the department on time and coming to the department on time. और बहुत लोग ऐसे भी होते हैं, पहले बाद में आते हैं और पहले चले जाते हैं. तो इनिशिएशन कहाँ आएगा? So initiation requires certain planning, meticulous planning. You have to devote something for your society. You have to devote something for your institution at a large, and that there are possibility of screening. जो प्लानिंग होता है उसमें कुछ हम स्क्रीनिंग करें, कोई नए आइडियाज लेके आते हैं. So friends, do you not think that my university, my higher education institution can work something for my society? Definitely yes. Why not? We can do something work for the. We can initiate certain quality और सोशल कनेक्ट प्रोग्राम. हम अपने सोशल कनेक्ट प्रोग्राम को चालू कर सकते हैं. आवर यूनिवर्सिटी वन ऑफ द एग्जाम्पलर इंस्टीट्यूशंस इन दिस कॉन्टेक्स्ट. आई होप दिस इज द सीक्रेट ऑफ गेटिंग ए डबल क्लास इन आवर यूनिवर्सिटी. उससे पहले हम लोग भी पढ़ाते थे, लिखाते थे और छोटे छोटे रिसर्च करते थे. बट that the competent authority, when he instructed you have to come with certain ideas and thoughts, so people started on thinking that मैं अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन को क्वालिटी बनाने के लिए और क्वालिटेटिव कंपोनेंट के लिए और उनमें कुछ एडिशन व्हाट मोर थिंग्स कैन बी एडेड इन एडिशन टू टीचिंग लर्निंग एंड रिसर्च. पीपल स्टार्टेड ऑन थिंकिंग दैट मैं छोटे छोटे सोसाइटी के लिए क्या काम कर सकते हैं. व्हाट थिंग्स कैन बी डन फॉर दैट ऑफ दिस ओल्ड एज पीपल. व्हाट थिंग्स कैन बी डन फॉर दैट ऑफ दिस small kids whose parents are working from morning to evening either in industry or in different institutions. ऐसे छोटे छोटे काम जब करना चालू हो गया, it may be in terms of daycare centers, it may be in terms of old age home, in terms of certain guidance and counseling programs for the needy students, so they don't know where to start and to what extent they need to go. ऐसे छोटे छोटे बहुत सारे कार्यक्रम है. तो for the needy students, for the poor फेलोज एंड धीरे धीरे क्या होगा, जो यूनिवर्सिटी बिकेम स्टार्ट ऑन कमिंग टू मेन स्ट्रीमिंग हुआ एंड ऑटोमेटिकली नाउ वी आर हैविंग द वर्क एंड वी हैव इतना भी काम हो गया हमारे पास, वी आर नॉट गेटिंग टाइम फॉर अदर्स also. So ये जो बात होता है, so many time again questions come that no doubt in taking initiative is fine friends, but maintaining is again another important task. So if you start on having a right kind of planning and with that of the how it can be maintained for a long time, then I think there would be not a problem of sustenance. If we start on thinking that So yes, scheme is fine, and it can be work for a month, it can be work, and it can be work for a year. Then I think so. We have to plan in such a way that our stakeholders can be utilize this thing. At the same time, it can be one of the exemplary idea for the upcoming stakeholders also. So not only that, whatever planning and whatever initiative the institution is having, so in upcoming years we need to enhance the programs also. हम प्रोग्राम को जो भी प्रोग्राम से जो भी स्कीम से उसी को धीरे धीरे एनहांस करें इन टर्म्स ऑफ. So if you ask me in terms of teaching learning, suppose my department started with one program, so I need to think of how I can have the other programs also. Like now we have our integrated teacher program, teacher education program for the students, and we are having at the same time. Why not we thinking about the that of this integrated inclusive and special education program for that of the special education students similarly. So there are number of ways we can help, and in terms of programs, in terms of faculty development, in terms of other activities, in terms of infrastructure facility, in terms of student support services. So being a higher education institution, we have to work in a multi-dimensional form. एक दिशा में हम लोगों को काम करना उचित नहीं होगा. We have to think in a multi-dimensional form in how different ways we can able to enhance the total system at a large. So friends, I think the idea of attaining quality culture require two important construct. One is assessment, another is accreditation, friends. So, in order to discuss and have a clear-cut idea about how assessment and accreditation happens in a country like India, we are having organization like National Assessment and Accreditation Council. And friends, the benefits of accreditation, let me say, whether in what way it is benefited for all of us. The accreditations always helps the institution to know its strength, weaknesses, opportunity for an informed review process, and to identify the internal areas of planning and source allocation. The outcome provides funding agency objective data to performance in terms of funding, initiates institutions into innovative and modern and recent methods of pedagogy, gives institutions a new sense of directions as well as identity. It provides society with reliable information on quality of education the specific institutions used to offer. The accreditations also promotes the intra as well as inter-institutional interactions, friends. So the National Assessment and Accreditation Councils used to functions broadly in three levels. One is having its general council, the executive council, continuation with board of directors. So in order to understand the vision of National Assessment and Accreditation Council, the total quality evaluation is based on the self, means I can say the internal component, the external component, which leads to total quality evaluation. To make the quality the defining elements of higher education in India through a combination of self and external quality evaluation, which ultimately leads to total quality evaluation. So the moment we talk about the assessment and accreditation, friends, it is very common that we all are from the domain from the education. We many a time wish to say, so higher education requires not only external evaluation, at the same time it requires the peer evaluations also, the self evaluations also. So external evaluation must be not only be one of the criteria, but it is a combination of the self and external evaluation, because I know my strength, I know my weaknesses, and I know what I can do in which format, in which areas. That is very important, friends. That's why a responsible institution always believes more on self-evaluation. And being the higher education institution, and higher education institution is one of the highest level of or apex level of educational institution in the country like India. So we need to develop, first of all, the self-evaluation, and we need to develop. So what is my strength area? What is my weaknesses area? And how I can remove and reduce and eradicate the weaknesses. I need to understand my positives, my positivity, and if I start on working, to bridge the gap of negativity, and automatically things would be in different form. It would be in a sizable form, so that I'd be one of the best institutions in various form of in various components of my system. That's why self-evaluation is one of the important system. And friends, uh, many a time you might have come across, or it is one of the common idea. If I start on, if you start on looking the nature of undergraduate college or postgraduate college to that of the, if you make a comparison of that, rather I can say, of the university as well as a college, both of them free to offer the higher education. However, university is autonomous in nature. So what kind of autonomy we used to expect, friends? Do you think that autonomy is highly related to, and autonomy helps to promote quality? Do you think that autonomy is significant predictor to promote quality? Definitely. In one condition it is yes, in another condition it is no. Let me clarify. So why it is no and how it is yes. So if autonomy would be provided to any of the education institution, नमस्कार सर, एक ऑनलाइन क्लास में हूँ, 3 बजे फ्री होके लगा था जी। हाँ ना, मैं 3 बजे आता हूँ आपके पास सर। जी जी हाँ। So friends, many a time we have freedom, but we don't know how to utilize our freedom. And we have autonomy, but in terms of autonomy, we dilute the standard of the educational institution or dilute the standard of education. And I understand that. So autonomy and accountability must work together. If you are not accountable, what what is my duty, what is my responsibility, that why, if when autonomy is provided to an educational institution, to what extent I could do justice to the teaching learning, to the research, to the extension activity, then nobody can help. Not any system, not any state government, any central government, any ministry can help you or promote the quality of the system. That's why बहुत बढ़िया कहावत है, you can take a horse into water but you cannot make him into drink. So ये वैल्यू सिस्टम को हमें प्रमोट करना पड़ेगा, बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बात है। दैट इज सो नाउ values are usually cut from the many educational institutions. So on the name of autonomy we are doing many things, so that is not expected, and that's why so most of the time government is thinking to have the centralized system. So friends, we have to decide what is to be done. So to what extent we are autonomous, and if you like to maintain or sustain the autonomous, then we need to be accountable for that. We need to do something that would be helpful to make the institution one of the best institutions in the domain of higher education. So, so far the national higher education national assessment accreditation is concerned, we are having certain core values, as we have been discussing, that value incorporation is one of the ideas. And so first important thing, that we need to contribute to the national development. We need to foster the global competencies among our students. We need to inculcate a value system among our students. We need to promote the use of technology, and we need to have the quest for excellence or excellence. Very important thing. And if my institution are not in a position to promote such type of values, I think quality is a great question. Whatever institution you have, we have the rank top, we have the name of international institutions, we have the name of international institution, we have the name of the institution of eminence, institution of national importance. But we need to analyze again and again. We need to look into that how these things can be promoted in the system of education. National development is the first priority. How it can be a culture, how it can be nurtured, how our institution at a large can improve the global competencies among our students. Now we are talking about the global competencies. How my student can be competent, how our students can be competent with the university like that of this Harvard and others university. So it requires the analysis of the existing ideas, existing curricula, existing pedagogy, existing assessment, the way we are dealing our students. So then only then our professional competencies needs to be developed through different programs. At the same time, everybody's responsibility is very much important. And student need to know what way I would be one of the competent student. At the same time, teacher need to understand. So what would be my responsibility? So in which way I would be one of the best students uh, and to promote the global competency among students. At the same time, friends, the management, the leadership, the governance has a greater role in this context. So that's why, and inculcating values among our students. So either it may be in terms of core values, that the carefulness, the uh, persistence, the humanitarian components, the social components, the respect, the dignity, the whatever it required time to time. That is very much important. So that's why uh, the personal inculcation of the values. At the same time, our institution must be a system which must be a classic sport where our students can promote their values and our students can learn to be one of the valuable citizen for the nation at a large. So friends, so far participation of the stakeholders are concerned, we are having two kinds of participants. One is internal and second one is no doubt external. So for internal assessment is concerned, we are having our staff members in terms of teaching and non-teaching staffs. We are having learners and we are having management at a large. And so far external is concerned, the parents, the community, the alumni, and they also contribute a lot. They also have their perception about the higher education institutions. That's why we need to develop certain kind of good linkage. We must not miss the linkage between the students who have already passed from the higher education institution. Rather, we need to have a strong association, strong correlation with the alumni or the prestigious alumni of our education institutions. We need to have a kind of collaboration with the community. And we need to call the parents to the educational institution and to felicitate the parents and to establish a good relationship between parents and educational linkage so that parents will be promoted, parents will be facilitated to come to the education institution, and they would be the messenger for the others. You may send your child to the this and that institution, and they are taking care to the maximum extent. That's why. So this is my common observation is that the way we are treating the parents, and there is a very weak linkage between that of this educational institution and the parents of the society. So why not we call the parents to this education institution time to time, even though their students have been, their kids or their children have been passed, or we may call certain parents, those who are interested, those who are aspired to make their students to be admitted in upcoming days, and even if those students who are already in the system of education. So ये कम्युनिटी पेरेंट्स और alumni लिंकेज एस्टैब्लिश करना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट बात है, और उनको कंटिन्यूएशन करने में मुझे लगता है एजुकेशन जो रोल ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस बहुत बेहतरीन, बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से अपने को करना होगा, क्योंकि इन स्कूल्स इट इज फाइन, सो वी आर हैविंग सर्टेन प्लेटफॉर्म एंड प्रोविजन ऑफ पेरेंट टीचर्स मीटिंग, but in higher education institutions we don't have such kind of provisions. Nobody is uh, bother about others. Everybody's are, means everybody's responsibilities are nobody responsibility. So unless and until we develop affinity, unless and until we develop love and affection, unless and until we develop care and concern, then how institution can run? Because institution is itself a social, uh, a important mirror of the society. So एक दूसरे को जब तक नहीं समझेंगे, एक दूसरे के मतलब केयर एंड कंसर्न नहीं करेंगे, मुझे लगता है सो हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशन वुड बी लाइक दैट ऑफ द स्मॉल फ्रॉग इनसाइड द ग्रेट वेल। सो बड़े तालाब में छोटा मतलब जो फ्रॉग जैसे रहते हैं, सो हमारे रोल ऐसे ही हो जाएगा। दैट्स व्हाई द हायर एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूशंस at a large, that the moment we are talking about assessment and evaluation, broadly, these areas have been classified into 7 dimensions. One was curricular aspect. Second one was teaching, learning, and evaluation. Third one is research, innovation, and extension. Fourth one is infrastructure and learning resources. Fifth one is student support and progression. Sixth one is governance, leadership, and management. And last one is quite powerful, that is institutional values and best practices. Friends, if we little closely look into that of these parameters of assessment and accreditation, there are 2 parameters of assessment and evaluation. One is quantitative parameter, followed by qualitative parameters. No doubt, the moment we talk about the enrollment, attendance, how many students have been passed and qualified, these are all quantified in terms of numeric. However, the moment we talk about the facilities provided, the institutional values, the type of governance, the student support progressions, there are n number of components where quantification is next to impossible. So that's why we are having the assessment in terms of qualitative parameters. We have to have these sequential ideas. We have to have their reports. We have to have their certain peaks in terms of geotech photos. So ये सारे चीजों के माध्यम से कोई इंस्टीट्यूशन को एसेस और एक्रीडेट किया जाता है. So assessment is very much essential, and that too assessment in assessment of subjective component in an objective way. Assessment of subjective components into an objective way is really very important. Unless and until we are qualified, unless and until we are meticulously observe the things, we cannot really make this right kind of justice to the specific education institutions. I understand that many of the education institutions in a country like India are working marvelously, tremendously in this line to make their higher education into the to attain the historic milestone. However, still we have more possibility. We have lot of possibility to work in various areas, what we could not able to do in our previous days. So, curricular aspect is always one of the mirrors of any higher education institution, friends. If my curriculum is not up to the mark, if my curriculum is not at par the expectation of the national agenda, then what my students will learn? Even though there would be no teaching learning face to face, but curricula should be a really guide, or I can say it is one of the framework to attain the mission, vision of a country. That's why curricular analysis, curricular aspects, curricular correlates to be strengthened, to being one of the best institution in any higher education institution. This is my earnest, my small observation is that first and foremost thing, we the academia, we the intellectuals must work on the curricular in a meticulous way. First of all, we have to develop and design the best curriculum. Unless and until we do this, so my students, my students will not be qualified in different examination. Number one, my students will be not be globally competent, and they think that, and what we have learned in PG in India, the European students learn this thing in UG. They learn these things in higher secondary levels. That's why. सो करिकुलम को बहुत अच्छा बनाना पड़ेगा, एंड करिकुलम के अंदर हमें वी नीड टू प्रोवाइड एनफ स्पेस एंड स्कोप of different elements, not must be to be loaded with content. So there must be possibilities of activities, there must be possibilities of rigorous discussions, there must be possibilities of the components like critical thinking. So maybe students questioning, maybe group discussions, maybe that of this to comparing with one idea with another ideas. So ये सारे ideas curriculum can, curriculum must not be very tight and rigid one that I expect, and there must be a good linkage between one ideas with the another idea. And now that's why we are talking about the multidisciplinary philosophy students, friends. So ये जो curriculum के अंदर, मैडम my time
Yes, sir. Sir, proceed please.
जना सर, डॉक्टर जना सर,
थोड़ा सा बोले। Hello, sir. Please
sir, may
proceed.
I continue up to 3 or I should stop here? Am I audible, Monica madam?
You can proceed, sir.
May I proceed? Okay, fine. So that's why I understand that curriculum is one of the important components under these assessment and accreditations. Now, curriculum can be, how curriculum can be assessed. Now, this is what kind of employability components are there. Now, national education policy is rightly emphasizing about the incorporation of the value-added courses, multidisciplinary courses, skill enhancement courses, ability enhancement courses. So, do you not think that it is really one of the innovative steps? Definitely, such type of possibility one must not get in primary classes or foundational classes. Yes,
Sorry,
learning.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please say PPT is constant. Please उसको थोड़ा
ओ
सा मूव
पीपीटी,
करिए।
अभी पीपीटी दिख रहा है सर?
After that,
Jana sir, what about my PowerPoint presentation? Is it
please proceed, sir.
okay? Okay, so we are having the curricular aspects like we need to focus on the curriculum design and development. We are having the possibility of academic flexibility. We need to have the possibility of curriculum enrichment. At the same time, we need to ready to get the feedback system. That is very important. So far, teaching learning evaluation is concerned, student enrollment and profile is really important in this context. And very important concept is that we need to cater the diversity of the students' need. India lives in diversity, and diversity is the beauty of India. If we start on putting emphasis on the specific group without the understanding the need, expectation of the other group of students, we are having a lot of socially economically disadvantaged groups. We are having students from the special background. We are having students from the very poor classes. Their parents do not afford to provide right kind of education. So our teaching learning evaluation, our teaching must be in such a way so that it can meet, it can cater the need of the different learners. So and we need to move in different evaluation system that we are talking national education policy, rightly talking about the formative system of evaluation. So we are proceeding, yes, we are proceeding towards the continuous evaluation, and 360-degree evaluation is one of the ideas under the national education policy. So far, research, innovation, and extension is concerned, friends. So far, research, innovation, and extension is concerned, we need to promote the research facilities among for the students. Our institution must be resourceful. Now, national education policy is rightly emphasizing about the establishment of National Research Foundation, under which so it encourages the path-breaking and groundbreaking researches, innovative researches, for which economic and financial assistance should be no problem at all. So unless and until our institution would be competent in their research, they cannot able to do the right kind of job, or they cannot able to meet the expectation of the upcoming days. That's why research is very essential. Why not we can make research, certain research, to promote and facilitate our teaching also. That's why. So making research and without publishing is again a great difficulty. Whatever researches we are doing in our field, so it may be a kind of experimental research, it may be kind of non-experimental research. So publication is very much important. And friends, I think that the good institutions are those who always promote for the publication by providing certain financial assistance also. So if you like to get the good publications, so now in this context, and financial assistance, maybe in terms of gift and hours, must be provided so that our researchers, in terms of students, a faculty would be encouraged for that. So a consultancy is another area. Projects, consultancy, personal projects, funding projects, small projects, maybe extension activities are usually encouraged. Now, educational institutions are not only confined with the in or on campus, rather, we are trying to have a collaboration in terms of memorandum of understanding with other educational institutions to carry out the collaborative projects. That's why our research must not be confined to the specific educational institution, to the specific person. We are having the interdisciplinary, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, and cross-disciplinary projects also. So far, the infrastructure and learning resources are concerned. So the moment we talk about the quality culture of educational quality assurance of the educational institution, we need to have sound physical facility, library as a learning resource, and we need to be sound and sufficient with and prosperous with infrastructure like IT infrastructure, and at the same time maintenance of campus infrastructure is another important area of discussion. Friends, whatever we are doing, and everything is for the students. So student support is one of the crucial areas under the quality assurance of higher education institutions. And we always we always work for the progression of the students. And our students must be participated into maximum activities. That's why. So our arrangements must be in such a way that our higher education institutions should be evolved in such a way that our students would be comfortable to participate in all activities, and they feel they have the we feeling. They think that this is their institution. and without making themselves isolated. If our students start on working, start on thinking that we have to, this is my integral component. So I am working for the progress of the university. I am working for the interest of the education institution. Then a lot of work can be done, and we can do a lot of qualitative work, because student has a lot of abilities, and we need to utilize their ability in a judicious and proper way, so that they are the intellectual forces. I can say they are the intellectual workforce. They can support their teachers, and even though many a time teachers don't have time, student can able to do many miracles, which is usually not expected many a time. That's why I understand that. So the students we have in our institution, we need to recognize their unique ability. We need to facilitate them, and even the students have left the education institution, we need to establish the alumni continuously. We need to have the alumni club, and so that they can contribute their ideas time to time. They can contribute their thoughts. They can contribute their various innovative ideas, and they feel that, so institution feel that they are our students, and students feel that, so I am, this is possible on account of the love and care or the belongingness of my institutions. So friends, so what my earnest submission is that our intention to make the educational institution to become a best institution, to a globally competent institutions. So in this context, we must not ignore the ability of others. Rather, we must to recognize and identify the abilities, unique abilities of the students, teachers, non-teaching staffs, the managers, the nearby people surroundings. So, and to collectively and finally integrate their ideas, and their idea is ultimately one of the asset to make our education institution become one of the best educational institution in and around the setup where it has been established. So last two observations I do have, friends. So everything is possible, and if we have good governance, sound leadership, and charismatic management. So institutional vision and leadership is very much crucial in order to have the quality education institution. If my leader is fine, if my leader is a visionary one, if my leader is a brilliant one, if he always looks the solution instead of problem, if you always find out the abilities or the capabilities of his workers, like non-teaching staff, teaching staff, then automatically an institution can prosper in a right directions. And if institutional arrangement leadership will be become weak, then not as even whatever soldiers you have, whatever teachers you have, so it does not matter. That's why governance, leadership, and management really matters. So a weak management make the system become weak. A strong person become make the institution become help to reach the institution to the greater and new heights. So we need to develop certain kind of strategy for that. We need to have certain kind of plans for that. So we need to have our faculty empowerment strategy with a positive attitude. And at the same time, so a good leadership, a good management know how to utilize the finance and how to judiciously utilizes the resource in order to have the good education institutions. So, friends, there are many things in this line, and the last component is nothing but the institutional value and best practices. So everything is fine, but if we don't have right kind of values, and things will not be operated in right way. That's why institution has its own values. There are certain social responsibilities. So what kind of best practices we can make in and around our institutions that would be beneficial for the society at large? and how my institution can be distinct from other educational institution, and how my this time of institution is different from my previous institutions or previous time. ये सारे चीजों को मुझे देखना जरूरी है. So unless and until I critically analyze, unless and until I positively reflect on this, I think अच्छा इंस्टीट्यूशन बनाना, अच्छा इंस्टीट्यूशन सोचना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट बात होगा. ओके, सो I do have last two slides with me. So the key ideas, of the national education policy in higher education system. If you like to make our higher education institution to be a greater and better one, we need to have holistic and multidisciplinary system of education. Instead of having the stand-alone education institution, we need to increase the access as well as equity at a large. Research and innovation is another area to strengthen the education of higher education institutions. And at the same time, we need to reimagine our institutional structure in terms of curriculum, in terms of nomenclature, in terms of teaching learning assessment, in terms of programs, in terms of course, in terms of human resources, everything we need to reimagine the instructional structure in a various way. And finally, our educational institution would be in such a way that which can be at par the standard of the globe, or we can simply say global standard and internationalization. I think friends, now it is 2:45. So the way forward is that we need to have a kind of collaboration between institution, government, and private sector. We need to investigate the infrastructure and teacher capacity building, and we can encourage an international collaboration and academic exchange to have a quality education institution at a large. And our unique contribution, our collective activity will make a significant difference, and will make the institution will be one of the best institution where I am working now. Thank you very much. This is what about my observation. To best of my knowledge, I tried to share my random thoughts. And thank you once again to provide opportunity to have to express my small ideas regarding the quality assurance and assessment with particular reference to higher education. So we may take certain of your certain observation. I'd be happy if you could like to add something so that
Thank
it
you,
will
sir.
be
Thank you very
presented
much.
Thank you,
better
sir.
in upcoming days.
This question will be completed.
Now we will have toward the question answer session. I would
Hello, sir. Actually, the session or the presentation was very, very informative. Just a simple query from my side. Are you able to hear me or not? Hello, sir. Am I audible? Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Sir, my simple query is from a simple query. Suppose
Sir, could you be
work
little louder,
in
please?
Central University
Could
is
you be
located
little
in a
louder,
tribal
please?
area. If we talk about quality concern with
Ah,
respect to tribal area facilities and NEP, how it is feasible?
तो थोड़ा आवाज कम आ रहा है, काइंडली थोड़ा जोर बोलिएगा। सर प्लीज, जना सर।
Sir, am I audible?
Sir, voice not coming.
Hello?
Voice not coming.
Is it audible now, sir? सर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है।
मेरे सिस्टम पे आ गई, यहाँ पे आपको ये नहीं आएगा।
अच्छा, जोमेटो।
Audio not coming, ma'am.
So may I audible?
Yes, now, yes.
So Jana sir, ask some question.
Yes, please.
Sir, thank you very much, and the session was very informative for each and every participant. But I have some queries. My query is, you are working as a professor in a central university which is located in tribal area. Then, if you talk about qualification of higher education with respect to NEP 2020, what measures you are taking to bring quality to your locality?
Hello, Monica madam. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes sir.
Madam, can you just be little louder so that it would be reaching to Vilas? For it is difficult for me to.
May I ask question, sir? Are you getting my voice?
Yes, it's fine. No, you can have your
Yes.
question.
सर, मेरा सवाल आपसे है कि आपने यूनिवर्सिटी एक्सीलेंसी की बात करी, उसमें एक वन ऑफ द फैक्टर है कंटेंट डेवलपमेंट का, यानी डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द कंटेंट मे बी द एजुकेशनल प्रोग्राम और द अदर कंटेंट प्रोग्राम इन द टेक्स्ट फॉर्मेट। तो यूनिवर्सिटी जो अपना सिलेबस निकालती है या अपना कंटेंट निकालती है, तो वो काफी पुराना हो चुका था, 5 साल 10 साल पुराना। लेकिन मैं देख रहा हूँ कि यूनिवर्सिटीज में ब्रिज कोर्स नहीं होता यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल पे या हायर लेवल पर, जहाँ लर्नर्स फेस करते हैं प्रॉब्लम कंटेंट को ये एक्वायर करने में और कलेक्ट करने में, रीड करने में। जो रेफरेंस मटेरियल होता है वो उतना हाई लेवल का होता है, और जो यूनिवर्सिटी लेवल का कंटेंट होता है मतलब लेकिन एवरेज या मीडियम लेवल पे होता है। तो वहाँ एक लर्नर्स में गैप आता है उसको लर्निंग प्रोसेस में। तो आपका कोई सुझाव है उस चीज के लिए कोई?
बहुत बहुत बढ़िया प्रश्न है सर आपका। जो ये गैप को पूरा करने के लिए देर नॉट ए सिंगल वे that we cannot simply responsible to the concerned university. So we have to shoulder certain responsibility being a learner also. मैं एक लर्नर के रूप में मैं भी कुछ रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लूँ एंड क्योंकि आप जो हायर एजुकेशन में कोई स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं, दे आर क्वाइट आई मीन्स दे आर क्वाइट मैच्योर्ड इन देयर अप्रोच. तो दो तरीके हैं. सपोज लर्नर्स को ये पॉसिबिलिटी बताया जाए और सोर्स बताया जाए, आप वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए क्या क्या रिसोर्सेस आप यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं. सो ही कैन गो एंड ही कैन एक्सप्लोर द रिसोर्सेस एंड ऑटोमेटिकली उसके बाद वो नेक्स्ट स्टेज में वो जो हायर स्टेज ऑफ कोर्सेज को चला जाए. अदरवाइज इफ स्टूडेंट कैन नॉट बी एबल टू एक्सेस, उनके लिए एक्सेस के लिए जो पॉसिबिलिटीज है, इंस्टीट्यूशन कैन एबल टू फैसिलिटेट. इंस्टीट्यूशन उनको फैसिलिटेट करे और इस प्रकार का अरेंजमेंट्स करें, so that student get benefit out of that, and they will be reaching to the next stage. This is my observation. So it is not simply the matter of the university. At the same time, student has to take certain pain, and if we start on collectively and cooperatively do, it will not be a great problem for neither for the students nor for the institution.
Thank you so much, sir, for kind reply.
Definitely. Thank you, Dheeraj sir.
Is anyone else having any questions? Dear participants, kindly ask your questions. I think everything is very clear in the mind of the participants. So now I would like to invite Dr. Shikha to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Monica ma'am. A very good afternoon to all present here. It's my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks on the behalf of School of Education, K.R. Mangalam University. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Professor Sambit Kumar Rishkar sir, for delivering such as valuable and insightful session. Your thought on quality assurance and accreditation in higher education will surely resonate with all us going forward. I would extend my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Sanjay Kumar, President, CTPD, India, for his continuous support and motivation. I would also like to thank Dr. Rachna Sharma, Associate Program Director, CTPD India, her support and coordinating. We also thank all the participants who joined us today through Zoom and YouTube. Your active engagement and presence made this session truly meaningful. A sincere thanks again to our speaker and the organizing team for their continuous effort behind the event. We look forward to your presence in the upcoming session of the FDP. With this, we conclude today's session. Please fill today's feedback form and they being shared in the chat box. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Namaskar. Sir, namaskar.
Sir, am I audible? Sambit sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
सुनाई दे रहा है?
हाँ सर, सुनाई जा रहा है.
एक्चुअली सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने आपकी जो वैल्यूएबल टाइम स्पेयर करके हमारे से इंटरेक्शन किया है, और मेरे तरफ से, हमारा सारे फैकल्टी, हमारा एमएवी पार्टनर के तरफ से आपको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं.
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर.
और माई कंसर्न वाज लिटिल बिट डिफरेंट. मैं आपकी छोटा सा सवाल पूछ रहा था
जी.
जैसे you are working in a central university.
Yes, sir.
And located in tribal area, and if you talk about quality concern with respect to NEP, आप वहीं पे जो जो चीज करते हैं, ये बड़ा डिफिकल्ट टास्क हो सकता है, चैलेंजिंग टास्क हो सकता है, फिर भी आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी से अच्छा सा जो रिसर्च को फोकस किया जाता है, और आपने नैक में अभी A+ ग्रेड भी आपको मिला है. So moreover, many thanks to you and all the participants. We'll keep in touch. Namaskar, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar, sir.
You can leave.
Yes, sir.
Participants are requested to fill the feedback form. It is posted in the chat box. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachna ma'am. Thank you, everyone. We will share PPT in the chat box of WhatsApp group. So stay connected. Thank you, everyone. You can leave the session.